tables actually.
Okay, okay, great, great.
And slowly, I'm also slowly learning the data stage uh, technology also. So along
Mhm.
with this, I want to learn this talent
Yeah. So
ETL tool.
the coding style and the the flow style and all similarly, talent is looks like data stage only. So if you know data stage, talent will be easy, and if you know talent, data stage will be like easy, like that it will be. So it looks like the flavor. I can say it's like a flavor of both flavors are looks same, talent and data stage. Okay, let me talk about the talent first. Hi Sudhir. Is he Sudhir join?
Yeah, hi Mahesh.
Okay, hi. I see some Sri K. Who is this? Hi Sri K. I see some. Can you? Yeah, yeah. You're already in unmute. You can speak now. Sri, can you hear me? Okay. Some other also join. Okay. So I think everyone able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Let me talk about the talent. So talent basically a company name. They are started at 2006, so around 11 years back they started, and they have products. They have different products like data integration for big data, master data management, data quality, enterprise service bus, cloud integration. So like that, they have a number of products, but the most popular product is data integration, Talent data integration. This is the one, Talent Open Studio for big data. This is Open Studio, I think, but open source and ETL tool. I can say integration tool or ETL tool, both are same only. So it supports lot of source systems as well as target systems. If I say source systems databases, if I say databases, it will support all these databases: Mesa Firebird, Greenplum, Hive, IBM DB2. So all this stuff, my MySQL, Netezza, Oracle, Teradata, Exadata, Vertical database, all these databases. Apart from these databases, you can read the data from delimited files, positional files, regular expression files, XMLs, Excels, JSON, Salesforce data, NoSQL connections like MongoDB, Cassandra, Neo4j, Hadoop clusters, web services, and FTP. So this is Open Studio basically. Open Studio will have some input and output connections. If you go for Enterprise Edition, nothing but a paid version. So you'll be having some more options like HL7 file. There is a file called HL7 file. It supports HL7 file. In that it supports COBOL file. You need to scan the metadata of a copybook, and you can read the data from a COBOL systems. So like that, they have different. They are supporting almost most of the source systems and target systems in nowadays. So apart from this, basically, Talent data integration, Talent Open Studio for big data, Talent data integration, or Talent Open Studio for data integration. So this basically mainly this is created for data warehousing purpose to load the data from source systems to target systems. While loading data from source to target, we need to apply some business logic, nothing but aggregation, joins, cleansing of data, and expressions kind of filtering the data, remove the unnecessary data, capturing the rejects. All this stuff we can do with this particular talent ETL tool. And working with talent is really easy, and it's a mature tool. Why the talent got popular nowadays is, so this guy is, the source code of this particular talent is Java. The talent is developed in Java, and big data. In coming to the big data also developed in Java. So there is a handshake between the Talend and big data was really good. The code which you developed in Talend, you can deploy the code directly in a big data server, and it will run with the big data server's speed. So it doesn't require ETL server separately. If you have a big data server and if you want to do some ETL jobs, and that ETL jobs you can directly deploy in the big data server and there you can run. Because ultimately, if you build something, if you create something in a Talent that generates the Java code, the Java code will run in any mission where the Java is required, where the Java is uh, installed. So the topics that I'm going to cover as part of this particular training is uh, list of files. So I'll be providing you the software, complete software and one database for installation and files for practice and JDK. What are the supporting documents required, supporting softwares required, everything I will be providing. So this is my curriculum, data warehousing concepts and ETL concepts. If you people are aware of data warehousing and ETL concepts, then fine. Or else I'll be taking some complete walkthrough for a data warehousing. What is data warehousing? What is the need of data warehousing in real time? All this stuff and ETL stuff like why the ETL is required and all this stuff. And after that, the core. After these two topics, I'm going to discuss the installation part. I will ask you guys. I'll guide you and I'll tell you how to install the software and how. I mean, the installation and all this stuff I'll be taking care. And I'll tell you, I will guide you so that you can install in your machine. The minimum requirement is like 4 GB of RAM is required. Any processor, any hard disk is fine, but the RAM should be a 4 GB of RAM. And the from here, the third, the actual talent transformations will start. How to sort the data, how to you do any union operations on data, how to remove the duplicates, how to keep the memory how to keep the data in a memory for some temporary purpose, how to load multiple files into a single table or single file or single target system, how to keep the job for pause, how to keep the job in pause for some seconds, how to iterate. So there are a number of components here. How to send a mail based on the notifications, like whether the job is success or fail. If the job fails, then failure notification, or the job is success, then job success notification, all this stuff. How to filter the rows. Okay, and the important topic is context load. How to parameterizing the job, pre-job and post-job to execute some stuff before the job or after the job. All this stuff can handle here. Normalization, denormalization. There's an important component called tmap. So this component itself will take some 5 hours to explain. Remaining topics and all fine, but this particular 30th point, tmap. Tmap is a core component in Talent. So this component will take around 30 some 4 to 5 hours to explain about this particular component, especially. So aggregations, joins, some Java concepts. So the prerequisite is SQL is mandatory. If you know SQL, then it is fine. If you doesn't know, also fine. But you need to, uh, to survive in a software industry. Any guy, he may be a testing guy, as maybe a developer, he may be a lead, or he may be a manager, or any guy who wants to be in a software industry. He must need to know one SQL knowledge, one SQL tool. One SQL language, any SQL like Oracle or MS SQL, MySQL, NetSQL, data. What are, one SQL is required. One programming language. Programming language maybe a basic or C, C++, Java. One programming language is required. That will not completely. It's some knowledge like how the programming language will work, how it is compiled, and how it is compiled to machinery language, how it is executed in a server, and how it is getting the results. All this stuff need to be. One programming language is required. One SQL is required. Apart from this, so you need one operating system knowledge. It may be a Linux or Unix or Solaris, whatever it may be, Windows. One programming language is, one operating system knowledge is required. If you know all these three, you can learn any tool, any programming language or any tool or anything. So these three are basics, right? If you doesn't have a knowledge, or if you doesn't have time, just spend some 30 to 40 minutes daily to learn Linux commands, to learn some SQL commands, to learn some basic programming language, any programming language. Okay, so in this, as part of this particular training, these three components also important: Java, Java Raw, Java Flex, all these components. And like this, we have some components on file operations, FTP operations, database operations, and I'll be explaining the SCDs, slowly changing dimensions. So basically, if we are talking about data warehouse, we need to talk about dimension tables and fact tables. So we'll go through that. I mean, we'll have a proper idea what is dimension and what is fact table. We'll discuss like 1 or 2 hours to understand the data warehousing and the data warehousing tables, data mart, data warehousing, all of this stuff. And finally, if you want to store the data in a data warehousing table, it must be a dimension table or fact table, right? Most of the places will create a data warehousing in the form of dimensions and fact table. So what is SCD1? Slowly changing dimension 1, slowly changing dimension 2 and 3. So how to implement that in Talend? So this is very important topic. And after that, one complete project, one complete data warehousing project, pre-staging, stage loading, dimension loading, fact loading, how to create a documents, what are the supporting documents required to release the build, how the build will move from one environment to another environment, what is the release notes, how we are maintaining the versioning. So all this stuff from here, that from some 96, around some 10 classes only on real time, how the talent is useful in the market and how we are creating a project. So all this stuff. I'll be sharing you the project, complete project, which is a live project. I mean, the project which is already running in a first client machine. I have that project with me. So I'll be giving the requirements and I'll be guiding you how to do a project. I'll give the complete, what do you call it, backup of the project to you guys. So if you have a time, just spend some 10 to 15 days to complete the project. If you complete the project and if you complete the course, no one is required to, I mean, no one is, you doesn't require any help to crack the interviews. And yeah, this is about the curriculum document. I just prepared based on my experience, based on my uh, uh, students and colleagues' experience. I just prepared one talent interview questions and answers document. So there, and you have answers also, not only the questions, and you have answers for these questions also. Around like some some 57 pages document I just created in Talent. So you'll be getting most of the interview questions. Like I can say, like 70 to 80% of interview questions will come from this particular document only. So we'll be discussing this at the end of the session once the complete course is done. So we'll be taking some 2 to 3 hours of time to have some discussion, like what is how the question will be and how to answer all this stuff.